Hey everyone! Alright, I have a Pete the Cat book. It says Pete the Cat Checks Out the Library. And it's by James Dean, the author, the man who wrote the book. Alright. It says Pete's mom is taking him to the library for the first time. The librarian gives Pete his very own library card. Cool, says Pete. The librarian smiles. Time for the tour. There's the lady at the front desk. And she has the stamper and all the books that she's going to put back, and it says, quiet, please. We can't be loud in a library. We have to be quiet. She's giving him his yellow library card. The librarian takes Pete through the library. There's a big desk where people wait to check out books. Pete sees some of his friends reading at a long table. It's very peaceful and quiet. How relaxing. Everyone's looking at their books and they're being quiet. The librarian takes Pete to her favorite room. There are lots of Pete-sized chairs and tables and shelves. There are books of every shape, size, and color. What do I do now? Asks Pete. Now you read a book, the librarian says. Well, which book should I read? Says Pete. You can read any books you like, says the librarian. Pete looks around. There are so many books. Pete picks up a book all about airplanes and jets. He reads it and pretends he is a stunt pilot. He flies a super fast jet and does loop the loops and spirals high in the sky. So he's reading a book about a jet and he's using his imagination. He's thinking, what if I were a jet pilot? Then Pete finds a book with dragons, wizards, and unicorns on the cover. He reads it and imagines that he is a powerful wizard, using magic spells and a magic wand to defend his castle against the fire-breathing dragon. Again, he's reading a book, and he's pretending in his head that he is in that book. So he sees the unicorn and the wizard and the dragon. Next, Pete opens a book about spiders and insects. He reads it and imagines that he is a scientist studying all types of critters in the wild. He has to be very still to study some critters and very fast to study others. Then Pete chooses a book with all sorts of scary monsters on the cover. It is a book of fairy tales. Pete reads it and pretends that he is in a dark, spooky forest trying to outsmart a big, bad wolf. Pete puts that book back on the shelf. It's too scary. He opens a book about the pyramids in Egypt. He reads it, pretends that he is an explorer riding a camel across the desert and climbing to the top of a giant pyramid. Next, Pete picks a book with all sorts of robots on the cover. He reads it and imagines that he's a robot at a robot dance party. His arms and legs make whizzing sounds when he moves. When Robot Pete speaks, he says, bleep, bloop, bleep. Look, he's a robot. Is he really a robot? No. But he's reading a book about robots and he's using his imagination pretending that he's a robot. Pretty cool. He says, bleep, bloop, bleep. Next, Pete picks up a book about superheroes. He reads it and makes believe he's a superhero. He flies around the city on the colorful cape, chasing bad guys and saving the day. Then Pete spots a big book about the ocean and all its creatures. He reads it and imagines that he's a scientist in a submarine deep in the Atlantic Ocean, looking for whales, squids, and sharks. Oh, look! He's in a submarine. There's the whale. There's the octopus and the dolphin. What? Squid? That's pretty cool. There are so many wonderful books to read at the library. Pete can be whatever he imagines with a book. Reading is super groovy. So look, he can read any book and pretend that he is part of that book. What is he holding in his hand that's yellow? It's his library card. Very cool. All right, and that's Pete the Cat checks out the library.